Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. And hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So today, the Mets signed an infielder named Nick Madrigal. Before we get this video, just want to mention, I am not a reporter. I'm a Mets fan that cares about the Mets. I want to see the Mets win. Is all I care about. And I try to do videos as concisely as I can and be entertaining at the same time. Because most YouTubers, they're not entertaining. Some people say I'm not, but you know what? I do my best to make the videos more interesting than just sort of average YouTubers. Most of the YouTubers are all average. And some of them have gotten very lucky. Not me, of course. I got to work my ass off at this. But, so don't expect me to be a reporter. I'm reporting on this. This is not Tom Brokaw here. This is not Hut Brokaw. Hut Brokaw. You know, it's not Hut Summers here. Hut Summers retired. Here we are back at the Baseball Hut. No, it's not like anything like that. But the Mets signed Nick Madrigal. This was reported widely. I'm sorry for the video being so late. Running around today. And I was not here at the Hut to tell you what was going on. But according to Joel Sherman, and it's been widely reported now, the Mets announced it a little while ago that they signed Nick Madrigal, and he's got a split contract. Meaning that no matter what happens, he will be with the Mets this year. He'll either be as a minor league player or a major leaguer. He's not on the 40-man roster. So he will get a shot to make the Mets in spring training. Now, he is more of a defensive kind of guy. This kind of a move is sort of making me think that the Mets are going to re-sign Pete Alonso soon, because his value is to play third base defensively. So I wonder, and you know David Stearns, he is big on defense. Now, he's been a very good defensive third baseman. And he has, believe it or not, he's not a great hitter, but his wins above replacement is very high. So what that tells me, he's very good defensively. So I would expect that the Mets will sign Pete in the next few days. I understand that Boomer signs and they made a stupid prediction that the Mets are going to sign him on Friday. It's stupid. Guy's such a dope, you know. Most of the residents at the insane asylum known as WFNR. But yeah, so Madrigal is he'll get a shot to make the team. If he makes the team, okay. I don't get worked up. I'm sure some people are worked up about this move that the Mets made. I don't get worked up about the 26th man on the roster. Neither should you, because he might not be here. We saw last year that Jose Iglesias was. I would mention about Jose Iglesias. He was the first player signed last offseason by David Stearns, and people got mad about it. People got really mad about it, and the same people that were mad about it have been pissed off that the Mets did not re-sign him. I don't expect to see Jose Iglesias with the Mets in spring training. Now, he has not gotten any kind of contract offer from anybody. But you never know. He might come back. They might bring him back and, at the end of spring training or after spring training when the season starts. Who knows? But he is 35 years old. In my opinion, Mets got as much out of him as you could possibly get out of him. You talk about Moneyball and value. They got so much value out of him last year because he started out in the minor leagues. They had him as a minor league, and they had him as an invite to spring training. He had a great spring training, but the Mets sent him down to AAA. They told him he needed to do certain things to improve his play. He did that, and he came up in, I guess, late May, early June, and he was a big part of this club. He really changed the atmosphere around here because he's very, energetic, and he's got great energy, and, with the singing and everything else, he's a good guy in the clubhouse. But the thing is that he's 35 years old. And then it's realistic about him. It's too bad that he has to go, but that's baseball. It's baseball. That's how it is. And that's how sports is. If a player, and I would mention that his play fizzled out in the postseason. He had a lot of big at-bats in the postseason. Where, in my opinion, he really killed a lot of rallies. Especially in that Dodger series, he did nothing. He got his hits, but they were all little ground ball singles, nothing that could wreck a game. And you had him bat fifth. And quite a few of those games, I really felt that the Mets had not played him as much as they did against the Dodgers. Specifically at the beginning of that series, they might have had a shot at least tying that series at some point. or at least would have had a better chance to score runs. So I don't expect him back. I think they're very realistic about him. I know people don't want to be realistic. I know the same people that complained when the Mets signed him are complaining about him not coming back at this moment. I'm sure of it. Because that's just how they are. They complain for about one day and then they move on to the next thing. They complain about that. But, yeah, so what's going to happen next? Now, we know that they've been talking about Dylan Cease and Michael King. Michael King avoided arbitration with the Padres today. And he signed an option. So he could be with the Padres after this season. So there's a possibility he does not get traded. I don't think he's going to get traded now. So Dylan Cease is still out there. The rumor was all day that the Mets were going to acquire him today. But all the outlets were talking about him in particular because he is a big strikeout pitcher, and the Mets could use a guy, like a strikeout guy at the top of the rotation. And I'm not too enamored with Cody saying I don't know how much they're going to get out of him this year. That's the one guy in the rotation I don't think the Mets are going to get a lot out of. I feel pretty good about everybody else. Showman, they're going to get a lot out of him. Clay Holmes, I think he's going to pitch really well. But they got to obviously match his innings. But they can use another arm in that rotation. That's for sure. And Dylan Cease could really help this team in a very big way. What are they going to have to give up for him? I don't know. And of course, the Daily Pete update, according to Pat Ragazzo of SI.com, it seems that the Mets are getting, him and Pete are getting a little bit closer. They're making progress in the talks. It's slow, but there's progress. And the word is that Pete is desperate to come back. There's no reason not to come back. There's absolutely no reason for Pete not to come back. And we all want him back. I don't care what anybody says. Most Met fans that aren't miserable people want the guy to come back. I know I do. Most popular Met, she should be back this year. Just to have that possibility of another guy that can hit 30 home runs. Let's have the possibility of 4 guys to hit 30 home runs plus. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Mark Vientos. And they could have a 5th guy having 25 home runs with Nimmo and possibly Francisco Alvarez. So the Mets could have a very powerful lineup with Pete in it. It's going to be a good lineup anyway. But they could have a very powerful lineup this season. And we're about how many days from spring training? 12 days. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I'm very excited for the season. But the Mets still have some work. Keep an eye on Ryan Berger, who was a reliever with the Dodgers. He was designated for assignment. And apparently the Mets like him. We'll see if the Mets can get him on some kind of small deal. That's the kind of deal that David Stearns is good at. I would mention that bullpen is much better going into the season. I feel much more confident in this bullpen. Obviously getting Ryan Stanek back is huge. Having AJ Minter here is going to be good. Hopefully he stays healthy. I'd like to see him get another lefty in that bullpen. We'll keep an eye still on Tim Hill. That's not going to cost a lot of money. But just getting ready for spring training. But really, 2 moves to keep an eye on moving forward over the next couple of days. It's Pete Alonso and Dylan Cease. If those 2 things happen, the Mets are going to be difficult to beat. They're going to be tough in this division. Because if you notice, the Braves have done nothing. The Phillies had not done anything of note. Other than bring, I guess, Max Kepler, and they brought in a new closer, but they've done very little. Okay, so now again, if you're coming by to the channel for the millionth time, stick around, hit the subscribe button. If you're a new viewer, welcome, and hit that subscribe button. And of course, for the regular viewers, I appreciate the time you take to watch the videos, and everybody else too. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.